Welcome to our fourth installment on Air Raiders. This is our last look at a vehicle, and it is the best of all vehicles, through all toy lines, through all time. This is a wonderful looking piece of machinery. This is the Man-O-War. It has a gun turret pod here on the back corner. It can seat two little Air Raiders, a couple of regulars in there right now. The coloring for the ship, of course, is a nice grayish cream with your dark red verging on a burgundy, and then of course your neon orange highlights. This is a little harpoon base here. You can unravel that string and launch it from one of the air-powered missile launchers. There's always some fun in that. This is our other pod back here on the opposite corner. This one has a missile launcher inside and also seats two figures. The side here has clips that hold 4 additional air missiles, and does okay at that. I mean, they get a little crooked, so you have to do a lot of adjustment. But over in the side compartment, you could probably fit 4 figures in there side by side. I think there are foot pegs for at least 3. And the harpoon missile has its own little stand that it goes over. This cover right here hides our little prison, like a holding cell, really. For Tyrants of the Wind or any other ne'er-do-wells that might frequent Airlandia. So we'll get this guy back in here before he causes any more mischief. But it's very nice that they made air vents in the top. Especially when breathable air is so scarce on the planet. Yeah, we'll just like expose them to the elements out there. The Man-O-War is, of course, piloted by Admiral Fury in his gray and blue outfit, which kind of looks a bit medieval. We'll see it a little closer up later on. The center section here has a stairway that folds down and a hatch that goes up, and we've got 4 figures seated inside there. To my mind, this is launch control for missiles, remote guns, communications bay. These guys are pretty much running things on the ship. I mean, they get their marching orders from Admiral Fury, of course, but they are the heart of the machine. Of course, the 2 little gun seats there in front too are pretty nice. Sometimes having the cord, the tube attached to this pod will make it randomly open up. So you have to be a little finicky in how you get that cord set up. I will call that a cord, even though it's just an air hose. This is an elevator here on the back, translucent red plastic, and it will take someone from ground level up to the deck of the Man-O-War. And this is a wonderful thing. It is a surveillance pod, which you press that brownish button there and it sends air into that system and amazingly holds the 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch styrofoam ball in place. This is your air selector here. You may note that it has 4 ports on it, but I only have 2 hooked up. That is because this is one of the pieces that I had to replace. So with the original 4 ports of it being literally destroyed, there was no way to send the air anywhere. And of course, the first time I tried to film these videos, I had unconnected hoses. So I scrapped it all and started over fresh. And here we are. So up there by the styrofoam ball, you can see there's a little place for a gunner who was there at the beginning of the video before I threw him into the pod. And then the styrofoam ball is not original, of course. It is one I had to figure out what size worked best for it. And the original, actually, every one I've seen so far now looks yellow. So I don't know if that's the color it was in 1987 when these toys came out, or if that's time. But in the catalog illustration originally, it was shown as white, and I really like that look, so that's what I went with. Underside here, it looks absolutely great. Vehicle rolls on 3 wheels, on 3 legs. Storage here underneath for 5 more missiles. A lot of nice detailing under there, and some clips to route your air lines on. This side has a nice little, maybe this is more of a communications base. And then so we've got a little radar dish that pops up. Seating for 2 figures. And there are also foot pegs on the inside when it folds out that they can stand on. Well, this first Man of War I got, this threw me for a loop, and obviously the previous owners, because there are stress marks on the 2 pins on the side that hold that in place. Because it was flipped around the wrong way, so it didn't seat flat, and it was up at an angle. But you can install the curved canopy there either way, and you can put this in either way. But the only way it'll sit flat is if you have those foot pegs on top. So if you have a Man of War and you're having problems with it, that could be it. Here's your gun pod that I don't know if it's really under its own power or if they just kind of drop it off and pick it back up. But it looks really nice. And the shape of these kind of remind me of the control deck tower of the Star Destroyer. Which is a good guy vehicle looking like a bad guy vehicle, but that's okay. Bad guy vehicles are pretty sweet. There's the cord that we're going to hook up here in a second. Again, I said cord. To this guy. This is our little, I guess in a boat vernacular, this would be a dinghy. So, but the little sidecar. It's got a gun turret on top there. I say turret, but it can turn in 360 degrees. Driver sits pretty well. 3 wheels underneath, and you can see the cavity for the air tube underneath where it slides on there. So it took some doings to figure out everything, get this thing powered again for air, and also how many pumps does it take to be able to launch something? So for the record, it's about 10 good pumps to get a serious launch out of that, and we can get some distance there. More pumps you can, further it'll go. We're going to take a look at the instructions later on, and that actually cites 20 pumps to charge the air tank inside. And I've taken a look at that system. I don't know if it can hold that, but you can actually get a few shots off from that series of pumps. The reservoir inside is kind of massive. So here we go, 5 more solid pumps, and launches off pretty good, and it rolls really well, as you can see. Not too bad for being a 40-year-old machine. We've got, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more pumps, and I'm still hearing air, escape from the end of the missile there. Sorry, I muted that audio, but I had some licensed material playing in the background. I'm going to take a look at this pod here, the missile pod, and it's set up so that you can loosen the extra. This is, of course, the longest air tube for the vehicle. You can loosen all of the underpinnings, keeping it to the hull, and it has a good range of independence from the vehicle. And got our pumps in there, and we're just going to see how it fires here. And one good solid one there. Alright, we got extra missiles. Let's go here. And we get another decent one. We're going to go for a third, even though the pressure is severely reduced at that point. The masthead on this looks absolutely vicious. The stickers are a couple arrows and things, but it makes it look like little eyes on there. There's a hollow cavity behind those, which looks like it should hold something, maybe another couple guns, but there was never anything for that. So it could be abandoned earlier on in the design process. Strikes a very intimidating stance looking at it head on, but it helps to give you an idea of the scale of this thing, exactly how massive it is and how much space it takes up. This is pretty big for a vehicle that holds 2-inch tall figures, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I really am. I've only got 2 of the airlines plugged in at a time, but the other ones will store on a clip here, just below in the back where the air selector is. Your pump handle is pretty well detailed, and if you pay close attention to that, you'll see that it has 8 lines going through the top fully, with the other stuff thrown on top of that. And I'm going to get to that in a later video when we talk about the unproduced toy, the Air Refinery. And getting all the cords and everything situated back where they were can take a second, because you want to make sure you get a good seal on them, and time does take a toll on these toys. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this on whatever device you're viewing it on, but there are some places on this vehicle where the cords have sat for many years, and because of the rubber or type of plastic that the airlines are, over time it kind of melts the other plastic. I encountered this when I picked up my first Man of War, and it's a trend I definitely saw when I opened up both of them and saw everything and how it was routed on the inside. And there are traces in the launchers and also beneath where the selector is in this one. Actually, the prison cover with all of its air holes on it, I had to replace that the first time around. So that was the first piece I sought out to get redone, because that one, it looked like someone had just taken a hot iron and melted it through. But hey, that's chemistry for you, right? I'm going to get a little higher view down here at the machine and just gaze at the lovely lines of this. Oh my goodness, the way it scoops back and then scoops forward underneath for the legs, and it's just the flow of these lines is impeccable. And it really captures one of my favorite sci-fi artists of all time, John Berkey. It looks like maybe one of the vehicles that he painted come to life, which has captured my imagination since I was a child, looking at these catalogs, wanting to get one of these myself. It doesn't have a good place to be displayed right now, but we'll go into my plans on that in future videos. But right now, we're going to take a closer look at Admiral Fury and see how medieval his look is. He's got a bit of a sash, almost looks like he's wearing armor with a, I don't know what the terminology is, but it bears signs of heraldry. We'll say that. But he's commanding things from his perch atop the Man of War, and it's just absolutely amazing. This is a little file card that comes with it, and I mentioned in an earlier video that this didn't come in a regular board box. This was full-on cardboard, so that factoid was an insert. As is this. This is your instructions. And if you'll notice, step 17, if you want to pause, does say you need to pump this 20 times to be able to launch something. Below that on the right, you got the sticker layout. And I'm so glad. It would be really fantastic to find an uncut sheet of stickers and possibly find a way to submit that to Toy Hacks as a future revenue stream for them. Hey, get into the Air Raiders reproductions. Lightly lucrative. If you're curious as to how big the Air Raiders fan base is, take a look at the views for this video. That's, that's about how obscure this series was. But it was an absolute delight, and it captured a lot of my time as a child, staring at the catalog and at the key art illustration and hoping, just yearning to get this vehicle one day. This is the little story that comes with the instructions on the one side here, and it's got a really nice dragon wind coming out there. Feel free to go ahead and pause if you like. I think I found the right distance to have it from the camera to be legible. And this is kind of how the Man of War stacks up amongst its brethren, as it were. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for taking a look here. Thanks for just sharing my love of Air Raiders, at least for a couple of minutes. Next video, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of very rare figures and an unproduced toy. Stay tuned.